you get what the pastor was trying to say, right? Stop putting your face in the text, but instead put your face in the text. Then also, it would also be this. Now, I'm pretty sure some of y'all had heard this. Y'all can raise your hands at the. Y'all guys can't raise your hands here at church, but y'all can go ahead and start raising your hands at the club. And then the youth are all like, okay. But then adults are up there standing. You're like, oh yeah, pastor, tell them, see that you preach it. And what are the youth doing? We're like, yeah, I can raise my hands at the club, but not here. Yeah, okay, and also another thing would be this. I think it was about 4 years ago. They would be like, y'all need to stop putting your face in the book, but instead y'all need to put your face in the book. The same thing. Now we don't use Facebook anymore, and they know that, so therefore they change it up to texting. And another one would be also this. Man, I swear, if I was y'all teenagers back in high school, I would stand up on top of the chair and say, hey, everyone, bow down your heads. In the cafeteria, bow down your heads. I'm going to pray for the food. What? Oops, my bad. And then another one would be this. Man, if I was y'all teenagers back then, I would have started praying in the hallway. Jesus, I pray that every sinner who is listening to me, every demon, demonic possessed person that is listening to me may not go to... Also, just stuff like that. And what are the youth doing? They're there, like, why? This guy really expects for me to do that. And what are the adults doing? They're out there screaming and yelling and saying, yeah, go. First of all, they probably weren't even saved in high school. That's why they're probably acting like that. Second of all, what does youth pastor expect for us to do? So it's those ridiculous things that youth kind of turn their backs away from God and say, if I have to live like that, if I have to go ahead and preach, if I have to go ahead and stand on top of the table and pray for everyone's lunch like that, forget it. If I have to pray in the hallways like a maniac, like a foolish person, forget it. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. And also, if we take their sayings into logical reasoning, let's picture this, all right? Now, I like to dance, okay? And yes, I have to admit, I danced the wrong song. Anyway, God forgives us. But let's say I come home, right? You know, I'm all down, and then my mom says, hey, you look kind of different or down. What happened? Today I found out that I can dance at the club, but I can't dance at church, so I gave my life to Jesus, or I gave my life to God. No one is going to think like that. Or also, this too, yeah, Mom, do you know how I'm texting a lot? Yeah, well, now I'm going to put my face in the text. Now you get it, and then what is your parents going to do? Oh, okay, cool, all right. So you gave your life to Jesus because of that? Yeah, I did. That doesn't make any sense. So that is why we have to be careful whenever we hear those certain type of things, and do not follow what these certain type of pastor can say that can make us led astray from God. To be honest, praying in the middle of these hallways, first of all, will get you in trouble, and second of all, you will get made fun of at like that, especially with the friends that I, happen to be with. They would say some certain things that would not be nice. Second of all, you'll probably be getting in trouble and sent to the office because you might offend some other people. So it is not to act foolish. So that is the first point, and y'all guys will write this down and keep it in your hearts. That is the first point. Us being unashamed is not us acting crazy. We do not put ourselves out there.
Mr. Zink, if you're in the building, please call the front office. Mr. Zink.
We do not put ourselves out there acting crazy, thinking that, oh, I am being unashamed for God. Or whoever you may believe in, I am being unashamed for God. Hey guys, look at me. I am a God follower. Look at me. I'm praying in the hallway. Look at me. I'm praying over everyone's lunch food at the cafeteria. That is not being unashamed. That is being foolish. That is being crazy. But instead, us acting crazy is not being unashamed, but instead, we have to act wisely. Here's what I mean by that. Oh, and then, so the first point is us not acting crazy, but us being wise. Here is what I mean by that. And I'm sorry if I'm going to get distracted. I'm not used to that yet. Whenever I say wisely, I mean this. If we are presented in a situation that God has put us in, and someone asks us a question, let's say if it has to do with like a moral issue, right? And our foundation and our truth is based on the Bible or whatever we believe in, that has given us the opportunity to glorify God. that is us being unashamed. It is not us doing certain actions that these pastors want us to do. We just speak certain things thinking that we're actually going to do them. Okay? So the first step is us being crazy is not being unashamed, but us being wise is being unashamed. When given the opportunity to speak about what you believe in. Okay? Now, the second point is, I'm sorry if I seem kind of shaky, but the second point is this. Whenever we tend to act crazy, we also tend to lose certain things. We tend to lose our minds, right? Now, we've all been at church and we all seen those religious people, right? Can I get a raise of hand if y'all seen those religious people who tend to think that they're better than us? There's those people, right? They walk into church and I'm with the youth. You know, we're all joking about things that we shouldn't be joking about in church. I know it's wrong. You know, we all struggle with things, you know, that we need to hurry up and step forward with, and that's okay. We're in church. We desire God. We choose to live for God as best as we can. But of course, there are certain things that we struggle with. And what do we see? One of the church people, one of the brothers or sisters walking, hi. You know, just fake hi. You know, just fake like that, not even giving the full handshake, you know, just doing that. We've all met those people. And that irritates me so bad. By them acting like that, they are not influencing us at all. So whenever we act crazy, we cannot avoid the people who do not seem to follow our own standard. We do not have a standard. But what I mean by this, we should not avoid the people who are not like us, who do not believe the same stuff like us. No one is going to say this, wow, look at that person right there. Wow, he is much holier than us. He is much better than us. Guys, come on, you must be like him. Did you see how the way he shook my hand? Wow, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. Let's be like him, guys. He is a Jesus follower. He's an example. No one is going to say that. So that's why they are trying to impress God. But instead, in order for us to gain God's favor and more wisdom within us, we have to be with the people. Those religious people who walk by us and who tell us, huh, you better get off that Snapchat. You better stop going to the club. You better yada, yada, yada. That's not helping anyone. All they're trying to do is really impress God, and they are not doing it. They are not helping the people. God's goal for our lives is to help other people, and they are not doing that. So the point number 2 is this. For us not to avoid the sinners, but for us to eat with the sinners. Push your neighbor and say sinner. We're all sinners here. It's okay. You can do it. We're all sinners there. It's a joke, guys. Calm down. And if we can go to Mark chapter 15. Mark chapter. Here's what I mean by that. Here's what I mean by us not avoiding the sinners, but eating with them. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone here, you know, who grew up in church heard about Jesus eating with the sinners, right? Let's go to that. Wow. Really? I have no connection. Anyway, so I was going to make a saying joke. Oh, the saint is messing. No, he's not. I just ain't got no connection. So Jesus, he was with the sinners, right? The people who were not like him at all. And then, of course, we have those religious people. Why is Jesus, the Son of God, as he claimed, eating with them? Why is Jesus doing that? Oh, do you have one? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I scared you. It's Mark chapter 2, verse 15 through 16. If you can please read it, that would be amazing. Mark chapter 2, verse 15 through 16.
Now it happened as he was dining in Levi's house that many tax collectors and sinners also sat together with Jesus and his disciples, for there were many, and they followed him. And when the scribes and the Pharisees saw him eating with the tax collectors and sinners, they said to his disciples, "How is it that he eats and drinks with the tax collectors and sinners?"
Amen. Thank you. So the point is this. Us avoiding our friends that we usually hang out with, us avoiding the people who smoke, us avoiding the people who go and do things that we know that we shouldn't be doing, us avoiding them will not help them. We are not impressing God in any way. No one is going to say this. Let me be sarcastic. Wow, look at Ariel going to the library by himself, reading the Bible by himself. Wow, look at him with his headphones, listening to Christian music. by himself. Come on, guys, let's be like that. Let's be like that. He's a Jesus follower. He's an influence. No one is going to say that. But instead, what would be different is if I'm walking and someone's like, oh, hey, Ariel, why is he getting closer to us? Why? Hey, yeah, what's up? Oh, no, I haven't been to the club yet. No, I don't necessarily believe in that stuff. Oh, yeah, I never thought about it that way. And then I walked away. That guy's a pretty cool guy. That happened. I've talked to certain people who were not like me at all, but they looked at me like an influence. I'm not saying anything. They did because of the Holy Spirit that worked. That only works if we not avoid the sinners, but eat with the sinners. And by sinners, I'm not saying we're any better or any different. We're all sinners, but we have to be with our own people. We have to tell them about the love of Christ. We have to show them what God has done with us. So in order for us to influence and for order for us to be unashamed, let's eat with the sinners instead of avoiding the sinners. Thank you. Now, the third one is this, which I'm about to wrap up here. Okay. Thank you. And then, so I'm always down here and push your neighbor and say, give him 45 more minutes. See, I know I'm on to do that. The third one, it kind of connects to the second one. I'm over here saying that we have to eat with the people who are not like us, right? We have to eat with the people just like the way Jesus did, or whatever you believe in, it is a good foundation. You have to eat with the people in order for us to influence them. But the question arises is, where do I start? How do I begin? Which is why I want to go ahead for the next several weeks is go ahead and talk about and explain how we can influence people through our words, how we can impact them through what the Bible says and through what the worldly knowledge says. We can combine those two and discuss things, having a civilized conversation without arguing or anything. Because how, Ariel, do you expect me to eat with my certain friends who I know who have completely different views than I do? How do I do that? That's why the third point is this. Know your stuff so that you won't be unashamed, so that you will be unashamed. Know your stuff. In order for me to sit with anyone and talk about my worldviews, I have to know my stuff. What am I going to do whenever someone comes to a question with me and says, how do I know if God exists? Why would God create evil and suffering? Ariel, I am a homosexual. Am I going to go to hell or am I going to go to heaven? I can't control what's inside of me. What are we going to do whenever we're confronted with questions like that? So that is what we have to think. That is why we need to know our stuff and what the Word of God says and how to impute that into today's society. And I say those questions because me and Kyler have been confronted with those certain types of questions that we had to answer them. And God, it's not a scare tactic. God will only put you in those situations if you know the answer to. If God has put you into that situation, God has given you some type of wisdom and knowledge to answer it. That is what we have to do. So we have to sit with them and know the stuff. And instead of avoiding them, eat with them. Now, so those are the three things. For number one, let me go to recap it. Us acting crazy, being foolish, standing on the lunch table saying, hey, I'm going to pray over everyone's food. That's not being unashamed. But us acting wisely when given the opportunity to speak about Jesus, that is us being unashamed. Guess how this club started? It was a speech and debate. I think Aya was with me in that class. Yep, everyone go ahead and turn out Aya. Everyone go ahead and turn out Aya. I was with Aya in that class. And one of the teachers asked, if anyone could, I think we're all standing up to share something interesting about us. And then out of everything that I could have listed, I list one. I think we could have probably list three, but I list these three. And one of them was this. I lead a Bible study group at my church on Friday nights. Wow, what a loser on Friday nights, Bible study group. Anyway, but I said that. And because of that boldness, because of me saying in front of the whole class that I, on Friday nights, lead a Bible study group that's connected to my church, whenever I was done with everything, Kylie came up to me and said, hey man, so I heard that you led Bible study groups, right? I'm like, yeah, this and this. We started talking, we started connecting. Then we met Andrew. and all this happened. Why?